intro? Or
Well, I'll be doing the intro. I just wanted to congratulate us on actually starting something for once, you know?
Not sit there talking about it for 50 minutes?
Yeah, like, you know, I'll be dead by the time I figure it out. But anyways, welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast. It's a gaming entertainment podcast channel where we talk about games, music, movies, and we drink and smoke cigars.
Hell yeah.
All right. It's kind of a gentleman's corner, but anybody is welcome.
Anybody.
Anyways, while Cayman is setting up his smoke of choice today, I've already got mine set up since we were trying to figure out recording. I'm going to segue into our first part of our little deal here, and I'm going to go into
You're not going to introduce the hosts? Not going to say
fuck
who you
you. Anyways, my name's Bill Voigt. I'm the older gentleman on the side of the table that has a bad attitude, and this is my younger co-host, Cayman Hernandez.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cayman Hernandez. I do my own shit.
Obviously, we are amateurs at the podcast deal, but I'm glad to be here now. I'd like to talk about some things on gaming right now. And I think I want to touch the hot topic that's even more hot than the Iranian war right now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, AI and DLS5.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Well, what's the first thing that you would want to talk about with that? Because, I mean, like, I could go on for probably hours about it.
DLS5 is just the lazy way of making video games now, into making slop. AI is slop. I don't like it. This is the old man's version of the story. I don't think it's good for gaming and anything else that has to do with entertainment. It's just lazy. What's the word I want to look for? Lazy way of doing entertainment to make as much money as possible and do with little effort as possible.
Well, I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what, at least NVIDIA is using it for. Because, I mean, if you think about it in the aspect of, like, game development, there are ways that you can use AI for the betterment of actual game design. Like, I think, sorry for the audio listeners there. I think in general, for instance, with the use of AI in doing, like, coding and stuff, like, you can help it to correct mathematical numbers or help it correct specific things in game development that can actually improve game design. While leaving all of the creative stuff into it. I think the biggest problem is that companies are using it to already shut out the creative aspects, for instance, like concept art or, you know, any other forms of art in the game, 3D modeling and stuff like that.
Well, the mass layoffs.
And
for no reason whatsoever except to keep shareholders rich and fat in their pocket because they've been used to the last 10 years of making tons of fucking money.
Well, I mean, I think that's also kind of the main interest.
Pardon my French.
Nobody cares. It's not. I mean, the only time I think they'll care is if we're on YouTube, which I don't think we are yet. So, oh, fuck yeah, I lost my train of thought. Way to go. Oh, I lost.
Oh, my God, this is embarrassing. Just kidding.
Shareholders. Right. I was going to say, the thing I was going to bring up was, like, if you think about it from the aspect of, like, how games were made back in the day, right? Like, they don't have those investors as shareholders in the companies, and they used to make games for just the fun of it. It is kind of interesting in my brain as, like, a younger person playing video games forever, like, how that feeling of games has changed. Like, you know, when you play, like, a new Assassin's Creed game, or, for instance, I'm just using Assassin's Creed because Ubisoft is the quickest example I can think about this. Like, if you've played
low-hanging fruit, everyone. He's picking on low-hanging fruit.
Biggest low-hanging fruit, for sure. If you played, like, their older titles, it feels like they genuinely had passion for what they were making more than just trying to make something in this IP, but newer. You know what I mean?
The fundamental issue with AI and shareholders being involved in anything in entertainment is it becomes less about entertainment and more about making as much money as possible. And my biggest problem is that back when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, games were made by people who actually played video games. So games were in the lens of somebody who enjoyed playing games. And that is my fundamental issue, is that games just aren't fun anymore. It's not the gamer's fault that Assassin's Creed is 300 hours and only 20 hours of it's actually good content, and the rest of it's just go here and grab this and go here and grab that.
Right. Well, I mean, that's also just, again, the lowest hanging fruit possible I could have picked of.
But that resonates through a lot of video games nowadays. Everybody's copying that format because the market is saturated. People aren't making the big money anymore.
I mean, it was working for a time, though.
Yeah, when only 3 companies were making those kind of games.
For sure.
You know, now everybody's making live service games, which drives me up the wall. Cannot stand them.
I don't know. I don't hate live service games as a whole. I think there are good live service games. I think you just have to do it right and have the right mentality. I mean, even knowing that, especially nowadays, after witnessing Helldivers 2 go through this huge, like, shift, like, it came out, everybody was super excited for it, and the game constantly lives in this perpetual state of, oh my god, it's so over, and oh my god, it's so back, because it just has, in Helldivers cases specifically, it just has a very one-note kind of a development track. I
think the mentality that all of us have now is the social media aspect of it, where it's 30-second, focus on something and then you're done with it. There's no letting something grow into something greater. Now, of course, there's a lot of terrible game developers out there that they don't care about that, but there are some that are redeemable. I am one that eat my words on No Man's Sky, because when I got that game, it was absolutely terrible.
Well, you also weren't the only one that thought that.
Well, I'm the only one here in the room besides you, my friend, so I'm just going to go off my own experiences. And what I'm getting at is, you're right, I wasn't the only one, but what I thought was great about them is that they simply didn't give up on the gamers, and they didn't give up on their game. Because I went back and replayed it for probably 45 minutes in VR, and I was like, this is completely different than what I'm used to playing. And I was happy, because a lot of games you could throw in the trash. I mean, I've only been playing indie titles and, was it AA titles?
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me started on Witchfire, everybody, please. 340 hours on Steam in my life gone in a good way.
For sure. I mean, it's good that you brought up No Man's Sky, but I feel like that's also because they're not even AA. They're only AA now, only because when they first released that game, Hello Games was only like 15 people. When they were first working on it, it was like 10 people.
Well, what I'm saying is that a lot of enjoyment coming from gamers now, and where we are spending our money, is games that cost $50 and less. I mean,
well, not even 50 anymore. AAAs are all $70. $70.
I'm talking AA games. I mean, Witchfire was $40.
Well, AA is also the most successful market in the terms right now, just because everybody's done with AAA for sure.
AAA is garbage right now.
They're using, they're the ones that are using like the AI and these things.
AAA is the Marvel Studios of video gaming right now. Where they brought us a lot of happy memories.
Yeah.
But let's be real. I mean, in the 90s when PlayStation was PlayStation and people were gaming on their computers and they were playing Doom and all the other cool stuff. The thing is that most of the games that we remember were developed by small studios. The difference is that big corporations like Sony were trying to get their foothold into the market, and they were buying up every studio they can or helping publish every studio they can, which when you do that, you bring in a lot of studios, but they also kill a lot of studios in the process.
Well, I think Microsoft is more of a one for actually purchasing more studios than Sony is. Sony just does the publishing. Back in the day,
Sony does a lot of publishing, yes.
Right.
But they were willing to put their names on stuff more often. Now it's like they're killing Blue Point. They're killing, all the good companies that are actually making I'm not the biggest Souls fan because I have a temper. But that being said,
I mean, you're playing the hardest Souls game, Bloodborne.
Bloodborne is the best game I've ever played in a long time. Next to, I don't want to get into it right now. Next to Witchfire, I don't want to get into it. Go buy it. It's on Steam, $40. Let's move on to the next thing. What do you think?
Well, it's only been 8 minutes, so I mean, we can.
Well, we got 4 more things to talk about, my friend. I was going to ask you, are you excited or not about Steam hardware?
I'm excited.
Hardware?
I'm excited. I'm assuming.
Over the moon, by the way.
I'm assuming you're talking about specifically Steam Machine, Steam Frame, and then the new Steam controller, right?
Well, since I already own a Steam Deck and I'm addicted to it,
which a lot of people are, which sucks that you can't buy any more of them. But that's again going back to the other topic with AI and the shortages of RAM and shit like that, which is a negative impact on what we've got right now.
Well, I was reading an article that said that major manufacturers are actually going to start producing more DDR4 RAM.
I also heard that Steam was talking about producing their own RAM so that they can increase their RAM shortage.
is going to do that.
Yeah, I did hear about Asus doing that too.
What I was getting at is that some of the big players that are still producing all the RAM for the AI, I think that what I actually read was they are going to start producing more DDR4 RAM, and to basically, my machine right now is running DDR4. I'm running 32 gigs of it, and I want to upgrade to the next latest greatest thing, but I'm not going to pay those outrageous prices right now. And at the same time, DDR4 is perfectly fine running 2K, aka 2K is God tier. Just everybody just knows that right now. 4K is great, but 2K is the shit.
I mean, I think I just feel like 4K is so unnecessary. Like, for instance, I'll watch my dad play, and for anybody that doesn't know, which they probably wouldn't know, he has this ridiculous, widescreen monitor that can go up to, 8K. And, he's played, Cyberpunk and stuff in there on that monitor, and like he has a pretty beastie machine, and he'll play it with like crazy frames at 8K. Like I think last time I remember it was like at 60 frames at 8K, and I was just watching it and I'm just like, it's too crisp. I'm getting vertigo from looking at this just because of the widescreen aspect of it, which I understand. There are certain games like I could see myself playing The Witcher 3 on it, but not
having the latest greatest hardware is not for everyone. We all want it because it's all about bragging rights, right? Like you want to tell your friends that are in the same thing as you. And this this goes into a lot of things that humans do. This may not be just you, but a lot of people would like to brag about, like if you're a gamer and your Ferrari is your PC, you're going to want to I have this much RAM, I have this video card,
right.
And like you said, your dad is the guy that chases the numbers.
But I mean, the only reason why I combat that is because in the competitive scene, which I'm more competitive than you are in the aspect of like playing video games, right? There is a legitimate showcase of actual differences between, for instance, like the number one thing that I looked at was monitors. So I have a 144 hertz monitor, right?
Same here.
Which it's good. It's a great monitor for gaming. I get, I can see the 60 frames that I would need to for certain games if I needed that, right? But when you're watching, which NVIDIA did this, I think it was like 3 years ago, they did a differential showcase between 60, 144, and then 240. And the 240 one, it shows, I think it was on Call of Duty, it shows the guy running across the screen. So at 60 frames, he runs across the screen, but it's actually at a slower pace than the 144 does. And then it also goes up to the 240. So the 240 one is the fastest and the smoothest possible showcase of how it will actually like come to your eyes. You have a more easier chance seeing at the 240 hertz for the monitor on a competitive game than you would at a 144 hertz. That's why most competitive gaming scenes do that nowadays, which is an actual number thing, right?
But I still think that with competitive, I mean, visuals aside, you don't need to run state-of-the-art machines to get that kind of hardware.
Yeah, because I mean, they play everything at the lowest graphics possible for the highest frames possible, for sure.
Because let's be real, frame rate is more important
than graphic
fidelity.
Yes.
We want both.
Yes,
we want both, but a lot of machines can't play both. Like I love playing games around 120 frames per second, and it just looks so much nicer. Like in fact, last night I was playing The Witcher 3, old game, on my Steam Deck, and I was messing with the settings. And then all of a sudden, I switched it to Steam Deck mode just because I want to see the difference. And it increased to 60 frames a second on the Steam Deck. Even though it lowered graphic fidelity, the way it ran so much smoother, it actually looked better.
Interesting.
Because my eyes weren't straining to see all the jaggedy
and the details.
All the details. And so it smoothed everything out. And I know that there's a lot of people that are probably going to say, yeah, no shit. But when you find that happy medium for yourself in gaming, like I just bought a 9070 XT. And it brought me up to the next level. I mean, do I see a huge difference between my 3060? I mean, yes.
In some games,
in some games, I see a huge difference. But my PC is pretty powerful as is playing the games I'm picking to play. But I think a lot of people, unless you're competitive, which is not a very large percentage of gamers.
True.
I think that an average gamer, which is like a console gamer, and that's what I used to be, and I still am because I love consoles, even though I hate what they're doing right now. I think that you don't have to have the best. And I think the comparison between the two is pretty stupid because one is a fixed box and one is a customized box that you get to choose and spend all your money on. And I hate how we always compare the two. Like even though PCs are amazing and consoles are trying to encroach on that, with more powerful, and they just want to have more control, I think.
Well, they initially were. I think Microsoft for the longest time was going to do the Steam Machine method where they were going to build their own custom PC with AMD parts. And then I think they canceled that 2 years ago, and then they shifted their whole thing to doing the whole Game Pass thing, and then they're now trying to do the whole Netflix thing where they want you to stream your games with ads or without ads kind of thing.
If you're listening to this podcast and you're an Xbox fan, just so you know, I hate Microsoft with a passion, but I don't hate you. I used to be an Xbox fan.
We're all gamers. We're all gamers here. It doesn't matter whether or not you're playing with a fucking X or a goddamn PlayStation symbol on your screen.
No need to cuss.
I can cuss what I want to, motherfucker.
I just don't like Microsoft. I think they're a bunch of executives looking for money, and they don't care about the gamers.
Here's the question. Did you hate Microsoft before?
Are you referring to when Xbox first came out?
When they were before recent events.
When they were hungry and they were trying to make a good game console? No, the original Xbox is one of the best consoles ever created. Xbox 360 is one of their best-selling consoles, but it's a piece of crap.
Yeah, Red Ring of Death.
It was another one of those things where Microsoft was looking to cut corners. I mean...
Were they more affordable than PlayStation 3s?
Oh, yeah. They came out at like $300 or $400, and I think the PS5s or PS3s were coming out at like $600.
Okay.
But they were a Blu-ray player.
Yeah, they had the quality to back it up for sure. I'm just trying to remember if like...
It reversed the following generation.
Because I feel like if I remember correctly going back in time in my brain here, like Xbox used to be... I don't know if they used to call it that, but it used to be like the poor boys console is what the Sony heads would say. And then the Sonys would be like, oh, you're the rich posh boys, kind of shit like that. Because I'm mostly going off of like just the console wars.
I never got that when I bought an Xbox. There was a lot of excitement when Xbox came out. The only thing that made me mad about when I bought the Xbox is, this is a long time. This is aging me right now. When I bought the Xbox, I was working at GameStop, and I bought all the peripherals first. They had them all on sale before the console was even launched. So I bought an extra controller, and it was the Duke controller, so it was the one you can kill zombies with. And then I bought Halo, Combat Evolved, and I bought a memory card back then when they had memory cards that slid into controllers. And when I bought the system, they did not tell you that in order to buy an Xbox, you had to buy 3 accessories. So I had to buy more accessories in order to get the Xbox.
That's dumb.
Oh, it was. Trust me, I was not making a ton of money back then. And it was not. I was not happy. I'm not a rich man, but I was definitely not a rich man. It was like, do I eat for a week or do I play Xbox? And I was hungry for a week. Let's be real.
I mean, I think if I remember correctly, when I bought my PlayStation 5, they only had the bundles, and I couldn't just get the PlayStation 5 itself, like the original model, not the slim model, because you can buy the slim model alone and not get a game packaged in with it.
Correct.
Right? And the reason why I didn't want to do that is because it would increase the price of the console itself with everything and the game bundle by I think $40 or something like that. And I was like, dude, I just want to buy just the console. So then I think I ended up buying mine from, I want to say, fuck you, Leaf, from... We can
ADHD just kicked in. I'm sorry, everyone.
We can cut it off. It's all right. I bought my console, I think, from GameStop. I think it was. I can't remember. It's been so long. I can't remember if I went to Best Buy and bought it or if I went to GameStop and ordered it online. I think I went to GameStop and ordered mine online, if I remember.
Are you referring to the PS5?
Yeah.
So that's only 5 years ago, just so you know. It's not 20 years
ago.
Well,
I bought it. No, I bought it like 3 years ago. I've had that thing for 3 years, and it only just sits there in the box and collects dust because I haven't touched it in forever. The last game I played on it was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I beat that game for when I was doing my single-player mod game.
I think you stopped playing it right after you loaned it to a friend. That's when it kind of got you out of playing it.
For sure. And he was only playing it because of Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to play Ghost of Yotei.
Junk.
No, it's actually a fine game. I think it's just that the character's just unappealing, and it because it still looks great.
Junk.
Even better than it looks even better than Ghost of Tsushima. I've heard that the narrative is fine. I haven't played it myself because I don't have any interest.
It doesn't have the message in it?
It has the message.
Anyways, we're going to pause this little segue, and we're going to introduce... We're smoking cigars right now. I am currently smoking the S84 Blackened.
So am I.
And I just poured us a 10-year age Bullet, which is delicious. We're going to have a little sip right now. A little clack of glasses, my friend.
Cheers, my friend.
Thank you. Cheers. Mm-hmm.
It's got a kind of sweetness to it. Oh, my bad.
Anyways, I remember PS5 launch. I was working in construction, and there was about 5 guys in a work area, and we were all on our phones trying to get Xboxes and PlayStations.
Yeah,
like literally stand there with our phones launched, and everything crashed. Every website crashed. None of us got one. And about a year later, I'd put myself on a Sony Direct email when they became available, and I was actually hanging outside of a building and got the email, and I jumped in to warm up because it was the middle of winter, and told my coworker to go find something to do for 20 minutes, and was able to buy it. And I actually didn't think that I actually got one. I thought I'd gotten scammed. I mean, even though it was Sony and everything, who knows nowadays. And I remember my wife drove home from work to double check it, and I made her open the box and take a picture. So I did, and then I made her open the PlayStation box and pull the thing out in case it wasn't just rocks. And I know that sounds funny, but those things were pretty hyped back then.
Yeah, well, I mean, even scalpers were the biggest problem for that, I think.
I think we got off track a little bit, buddy. We're talking about old consoles right now, and we need to really go back to what I was asking before. We need to talk about Valve and their hardware.
Yeah, we totally went off track there.
Yeah, we digress. Let me start off. I'll keep us on point a little bit because both of us can jabberjaw on our things that we're passionate about, especially video games. So I'm going to talk about first thing, Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the greatest consoles of all time.
It beats out the Switch One, which came out
because it plays everything
7 years ago, right?
Yes.
It beats out what's that fucking console called? The ROG? What is it? The ROG Access Ally or something like that?
Well, okay.
Even if that one has better performance,
all the handhelds that are out right now are awesome. Like I would own them all. I like the MSI Claw. My friend's got one. It's awesome. It's better than the Steam Deck when it comes to performance. It plays all the games I can play better. But here's the deal: the Steam Deck it's one of those things. It's like the NES to me. It's like it's made by a company who consistently sticks up for customers. Mm-hmm. And we don't have a lot of those. We have a lot of small businesses, and I'm not going to digress off the topic. Don't worry, guys. There's a lot of small businesses that I support that support their customers. They stand by them. And Valve is in the gaming industry is a rarity. And I gladly give them money. I have a PS5 and I have a computer, and I'm still going to buy a Steam machine because I want to buy. I don't need the Steam machine. I just need the controller. But I want to purchase it because I want to put it in my room, mm-hmm. my office, and if I want to kick back on a recliner and enjoy myself console style, I will.
I think it comes down to, because I haven't used any of the other handhelds except for the Switch One because I own a Switch One OLED. I think it comes down to the fact that Steam is built by gamers, right? Like all of those dudes down in Valve headquarters, they're all just gamers, and they make stuff for other gamers, right? Like you play Team Fortress 2, or you play any other Steam game, like Half-Life, whatever you want to call it.
And Valve game. Yeah,
they're just great games, right? And then you go to their Steam platform. There's a reason why Steam is the number one.
It has nothing to do with monopoly. They have a monopoly unintentionally.
They have a monopoly because they're the only ones that made a good fucking software.
Well, they made mistakes. I remember when Steam launched, I didn't even have a PC. Your dad was all about it, and he was mad because he loved Half-Life 1 and 2. And I remember when that launched, he was all like, this is junk. But then, fast forward 5 years, and they fixed their problems. But the Steam Deck, the reason why the Steam Deck is so important to me is that you could see the writing on the wall. They've learned all their mistakes. Mm-hmm. And now they're making this console, PC hybrid, mm-hmm. which I have to have. And the controller, it reminds me of the Duke controller, dude, except not as cheesy. And
what I was going to say was that I think it's just that you buy a Valve product, just instantly because you know that you're going to get a quality product.
I still have the Steam controller with
That's
the
what
weird
I'm saying.
the weird haptics.
Even if the Steam controller was a fucking weird ass controller, you still have it and it's still there. Granted, I think that's just due to the fact that the PlayStation controller is just a lot better, more intuitive, and more easy of use.
Best controller ever next to the Steam Deck controls itself.
I think that the Steam Deck itself is just so easy to use, right? Like you can just boot it up, play a game, and start going, right? Like I think with the other handhelds, it takes a little while, right? Like Nintendo has its issues with the Switch where you have to have your account online, and then you have to verify that you have, if you purchase the digital copy, you have to verify that you have the purchase of it, right? While in Steam, it's like, oh, you can be on a Steam Family Friend and play that shit while you're at their house, It's just ease of access. And I think when it comes to like the Steam machine and the Steam controller, they're going to be built with ease of use in mind.
I'm going to jump off topic a little tiny bit, and I'm going to ask you a question.
Go for it.
Nintendo is one of the most important video game companies of all time.
Of course.
Everybody has their beef with them. Now, this is coming from an older gamer who loved Sega, who I thought always took risk, and then they died.
Well, they do. No, they're still around. They're just owned.
They don't make consoles anymore.
No, they just.
And
make
I
games.
love their consoles, but
yeah.
The Steam Deck reminds me of the Game Gear.
Okay.
And the Game Gear, unfortunately, did not have rechargeable batteries. I think it took 6 AA's.
Damn.
And it was LCD, and it was backlit, and it was colored. Mm-hmm. And I think it was slightly better than a Game Boy in the retrospective graphics, just enough to edge it out, basically. Mm-hmm. It would only last like 3 hours. I mean, and we all know batteries aren't, cheap.
Right.
So it was one of those things where you had to play it next to a wall. with an AC adapter. If you want to game longer than 2 or 3 hours.
Me all the time with my 3D or with my original DS for sure.
Right. So and games haven't necessarily portables that they haven't necessarily gotten better battery technology.
Well, Nintendo was also the only one to really lead the portable consoles for sure.
Well, they started off with the Wii U.
Yeah,
that was kind of like their Valve mistake where they made that, and then they made the Switch. Switch was a great.
The
Wii
U isn't a bad console though.
No, but people weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
Nintendo shot themselves in the foot by having the most sold console next to the PS2 with the Wii. But the problem is they got a lot of non-gamers into the gaming industry. And you could say that's a good thing, but that's why the Wii U died, because the moment they went more game-heavy and gamer-heavy and less casual gamer-heavy, the Wii U died.
I guess I could see that, for sure.
And then, of course, the Switch, even though Nintendo has become progressively anti-consumer, the Switch and the Switch 1 or Switch 2 are still great consoles.
Yes.
I mean, I think that YouTube likes to start wars between them and Steam and any other handheld, and they do a lot of comparisons of the new Switch 2, but it's in docked mode. And whereas there's no docked mode where the Steam Deck gets more powerful.
Right.
And so I think the best way to compare it is to compare it between the two in handheld mode. And some content creators do record it and compare it, but if more people compared the Switch 2 in handheld mode against the Steam Deck, I think the Switch 2 would look a lot worse than it actually is.
Well, it's because it would be. It does not get the most power that the Steam Deck would have.
And I think that the comparisons between the two need to only be compared between the handheld modes. And when you put it in docked mode, if you're gonna tell people who are interested in buying it or curious to buying it for their children, I think that if you're going to play it primarily 95% docked or 70% docked, you need to compare it to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And it's not necessarily about the graphics. Like, obviously if you want only graphics, you're going to gravitate towards PC. But
right.
And then you go,
because PCs are just powerhouses.
Yes, because you're spending your own money to make it as powerful as you want it.
Correct.
And I never understood why people get so mad at consoles for being underpowered when it's like, dude, where consoles dominated over PC for like 10 years
was the casual space.
Well, it wasn't the casual space. It was they actually had really good games.
That too.
Yeah. And as you've noticed how people are going away from consoles and getting onto Steam and GOG and all that other stuff, and I'm sorry I talked away from Nintendo, but this does have relevance to it, is the reason people are going to PC, like a guy like myself, is there's a lot of magic in the indie game industry. And there's a lot of games that are just games for gamers. And if you play games, you're a gamer. It doesn't matter what games you play. Let's just be real here. If you play Hello Kitty Island Adventure or you play Call of Duty competitively, you're still a gamer.
Right.
Casual gamers are cell phone gamers. Sorry if you're mad. Those are people that are playing 15 minutes because they don't have attention spans at a doctor's office. Okay? Let's be real here. I mean...
But if you think about it from back in the day, like especially bringing up the Wii as the thing, like that was a casual gamer console, right? Like because you could bring in the family and play, Wii Sports or something with them.
I knew a lot of PC gamers back when I was in high school, and this is back when Windows was still like king of, the operating systems, and it was actually somewhat decent, a little buggy if that. And there's games like Tribes and and just older school games on the PC. I didn't play a lot of PC, so bear with me, guys. But when I played consoles, I could go off the chain about the console games. I mean, you didn't have Legacy of Kain on the PC right away. You didn't have Final Fantasy VII. You didn't have Twisted Metal. You didn't have Halo Combat Evolved. And yes, there are better looking PC games.
Wasn't Halo Combat Evolved released with PC and
no.
Microsoft?
Nope.
No, it was released afterwards?
It was.
Was that 2005? Because the game came out in 2001, and I remember I played it a lot in my middle school days.
It was a launch title for it was the only reason to own an Xbox.
Okay. Interesting.
Besides the free games.
I've only ever known it on PC. I played the shit out of Halo Combat Evolved on PC.
Yeah, and the Halo was the reason to have an Xbox. And yes, it didn't have high fidelity graphics like a PC could. I mean, that was the only thing that PC gamers could really talk about back then.
So to go a little bit on track for the Steam Machine conversation.
Well, I'm getting to that point.
Okay.
And the point is that it was all our whole conversation about PCs and how powerful they can be or whatever. Gaming is the most important part of it, and specs come in second. Because it's so easy for a game developer, and I don't say this as like I know how to program games, but they can make their game run on the lowest common denominator and then make it look progressively amazing as you up the graphics and the fidelity and everything else. But the lowest common denominator is the games have to be fun. There are a million games out there that are beautiful and, wow, this is great, and they're boring. Any Legend of Zelda right now. Like,
whoa! Breath of the Wild is a really fun game.
It doesn't matter. If you look at the game, it's kind of dead. The world is dead, and it's only fun.
You haven't played it.
I have watched enough videos.
You haven't played it.
But you love that stuff.
Well, it's funny that
Link
you say
to the
that.
Past is the best Legend of Zelda game of all time, and I'm going to age myself right now. Super Nintendo.
That's actually a good. I think that's a good topic for another day that we should talk about because.
I digressed.
Yeah.
Okay, Cayman, I'm going to digress to a different thing.
I was actually going to ask you to be on the whole Steam Machine conversation because we were supposed to talk about Steam Machine. It's kind of hard to talk about it, especially right now because it's not even out yet. We don't even have a price for it yet. We don't know what it's going to be like. But the thing that I'm kind of curious right now is like, do you think that the Steam Machine is going to be the next? I don't want to say like the next big thing because of course it's going to be the next big thing, but like the biggest shift in gaming console market that we've seen since
it's not even out yet.
Right.
It's not even out yet, and it's making a shift.
Right.
So going back to Steam Deck, it is the most accessible handheld to getting into PC gaming.
Yeah.
Valve has done a really good job with their verified games, and it's not great, but it still works. Developers are trying to get on board and verifying their stuff on Steam Deck.
It's getting more progressive with that every day.
Every day it's like it's jumping up a ton. And I think it's just paving the way for the Steam Machine because if the Steam Machine could come base price at like $700,
which I don't think it will. I think it's probably going to be around $800, $900,
you think
maybe
so?
$1,000.
The base one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
because they said
fine.
that it's supposed to be as powerful as 6 Steam Decks. So like that, and you base it off of a base powered Steam Deck. That's like $300. So times that by like 6.
Okay, I mean, I think Steam could lose money on it
if the market doesn't change.
Here's the deal.
AI
I just
and
watched
stuff.
a video yesterday talking about the suspected price of the new consoles coming out in 2027. They're thinking that Sony's going to have the PS6 based around $750.
If it even comes out at that time.
And the Xbox Magnus, I think is what it's called. I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what
probably just called Project Magnus or something.
It's supposed to be around $1,200.
Okay, that's a lot. That's a
lot of money. And I think that if the Steam Machine can be, and that's why I said $700, if they can price themselves at a loss on the base model. Now remember, the Steam Machine is kind of cool in the respect it's like a Steam Deck where you can add memory.
It's modular.
It's modular. So if you wanted to just get your hands on one, get yourself the controller, you have a Steam account already with a Steam Deck, or you have a PC, or you've never had it at all, because Steam is really easy to sign up and start buying games on it. I think that the base machine, if it was $700, it's going to give the consoles I think it's going to be sold out within the first 2 hours. It's out.
For the Steam Machine?
Yes.
I think so too. I don't
think it's going to be it's not going to be like the PlayStation and the Xbox where there's going to be a bunch of them. Because remember, the Xbox and the PlayStation had a pretty large launch.
Correct.
In 2020.
But they were sold out. The only reason why I don't think Steam's hardwares are going to be sold out is because if you go back to looking at how the Steam Decks were, they weren't sold out when they first came out.
But the industry is different now. I just think there's a shift in the industry. I think that it's either going to get sold out by scalpers, and then they're going to try and raise the price, or I think it's actually legitimately going to be sold out. Now,
that's a good question, because I feel like, especially with Steam, they're already so protective of consumers.
I know. Okay, I'm putting my tinfoil cap on.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to go down to the old man.
They're going to have the Steam support coming and beating up the scalpers?
No, I think I wouldn't be surprised if like the console developers get a bunch of bots to buy them out and then keep them sold out for a while, so they can, But that being said, I'm excited for all the hardware. I'm not much into virtual reality, even though I have a PSVR 2,
That's the other thing,
which I think is great. And I know that the Index is like the best one you can get. I know a lot of people.
At least it was, because we've gotten a lot more headsets that are better, but they are a little more niche. That's the problem with VR, is that it's such a niche market for them to be able to actually like sell anything.
The nice thing about Steam though is that because the library for people is so vast,
it is. Yeah,
it's actually a better value per dollar.
The bigger thing I think with the Steam Frame specifically is that it can play both VR games and flat screen games in just the console itself. Like you'll be able to put on your headset and say you want to play Blasphemous 2 on your Steam frame.
Witchfire.
On the you could play Witchfire. Yeah, you can play that right in your living room and fucking set up a keyboard and mouse and play that through your headset just alone.
Just so you know, Witchfire is Steam Deck certified, so you can use the controller as well.
Yeah, you can also use
And I would never put my keyboard down in front of my living room and do that. It look like a robot. Okay,
I'm just using it as an example. I would set
that up. Like I would get the Steam. The Steam, what's the
frame? Steam frame.
I want to call it Index because that's the one it's out right now.
Correct.
I would get the frame and I would put it in my office like my PSVR with my Steam machine.
Okay.
In fact, at some point, I'm probably going to replace both those with Steam machines. Only because I want to support Valve because they support us.
Correct. Which I mean, I think is why everybody already is like.
Well, that's why they're being sued by everybody because the industry is getting greedy because all their stupid games are coming out.
Well, I mean, it's not even just that. I mean, you could take a look at the recent game that just came out, Crimson Desert, and you can see I mean, it's not even just Crimson Desert. You go back and you look at Black Myth Wukong. You go look at Stellar Blade. You go look at Crimson Desert. Right, all of these games that come out from different Western studios or Eastern studios. Sorry, so like South Korea and Japan and shit. Like they outsell every Western
Stellar
Studios
Blade
game.
Is an amazing game.
I haven't played it yet. I've only played Black Myth Wukong and Crimson Desert, and I need to go back and beat.
They just lowered the price on Steam. It's down to $40 right now.
Is it really? Okay.
And I own it on PS5, and I just bought it on Steam because reasons.
Well, you also buy all of your games from PlayStation 5 onto your PC all the time too.
I can't help it because they do make good games.
If you like a game, you buy it multiple times.
Yes, correct.
I did that with Helldivers. I did that with Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
It's just how it is.
You talked about this game just briefly. I'd like to ask your thoughts, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be quiet and smoke my cigar while I ask you your thoughts on Crimson Desert.
Oh boy. Okay. So I mean, I haven't put 50 or 60 hours into the game. And I'm probably going to spout a lot of the same things out that you'll hear from other YouTube channels for sure. The game is vast with just the amount of creativity that you can do into it. It's just really hard for the first 8 hours to get into it because the controls, the UI, and there's a ton of roadblocks that you'll get to that you'll have to jump over, right?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
I also heard that the reason why those roadblocks happen is because it doesn't hold your hand like a lot of the console games.
It's a part of it.
I think I was talking to you earlier before we started this, was that, jumping on ledges is marked on almost every game to kind of hold your hand.
Right.
Whereas I think it's kind of cool, even though it's, like you said, it's difficult, and I said I wasn't going to talk, but I want to ask some questions, is that it'll get you into that mind frame if you're not in that mindset already to go, I wonder if I can do that. Well, screw it, I'm going to try it.
And then you do it.
And then once you realize that you can do it, then it's like everything in every game, if it's like that, it becomes an open door.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
You're good. No, it is 100% no yellow paint, no hand-holdy, none of that. You just get dropped into the world. And one of the other things, because I was listening to a couple of guys talking about it on YouTube earlier today on my way up here, and they were talking about just the controversy on it right now. Because if you go and look it up online, you're going to have a lot of different views from the game. You're going to have the people that don't like it, and then you're going to have the people that think it's the greatest game of all time, right?
Right. Okay, but I'm going to ask you about your opinion.
Right. I'm going to get to that.
Let's stay on point and in retrospective. I want to know what your experience is because I feel like I haven't played it. I tried to install it. I'm just going to give you a backstory, but I'm running Linux, and it hates Linux.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I got it refunded. Thank you, Steam. But I want to ask your experience. You can compare it to all the games you want, but playing the game, because you played their other game for a while.
Yeah, Black Desert. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had it for a while, and I only just got really into it.
Now, I want your gamer experience because I think that everybody needs to hear a gamer's version, not just a reviewer's version.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason why I say I'll spout the same things is because it's what I agree with, right? So, I've played hundreds of games in my lifetime. I've played shit tons. MMOs, first-person shooters, third-person shooters. But I haven't played anything that's to the level of ambitious that this game has gotten to, right? So when I dropped into the world, and the reason why I'm so probably lenient on it is because since I've played so many games, I'm more quick to picking up systems and quicker to understanding how basic game systems work, right? The beginning of the game is rough, only because the story isn't really a story, and I don't want to say that it's an MMO story because there are MMOs that come out and they have wonderful, fantastic stories. This game doesn't have like main grand quest that you're going on. You're literally just a guy and you're just doing shit, right? The best example I've heard from somebody that I think I agree with the most is it's like a D&D campaign. You're just dudes walking around doing stupid shit, you know? You're like, oh, cool, I'm riding on my horseback going to this town. Oh, dude, there's bandits over here fucking stealing this guy's loot. Oh, I'm going to hop off my horse, kill these guys, and, you know, maybe I'll get a cool reward out of it.
Which I think is refreshing because...
It is. No, it is.
Because I think a lot of open world games, they have these stories that could be good or great or bad.
Witcher 3.
But The Witcher 3, hold on, I'm going to get on that one later. A lot of Ubisoft games, like the newest Assassin's Creed, and I played a lot of Valhalla.
But you haven't played Shadows.
Anyways, you get lost in the forest in those games.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of MMO-style fetch quest. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to go over here and start a battle like 12 years ago.
Right.
And I think that even though it's fun to be open world and you get kind of stuck in the same mundane, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to dig up this treasure. I'm going to go over here and find this artifact. Mm-hmm. And I'm using Valhalla as an example because I thought that the first Assassin's Creed, even though it got kind of trashed by reviewers when it came out, I thought it was a much more tight and controlled.
It is.
Because,
no, I would agree.
Because, you know, as Altair, you were in a kind of an open world. You traveled to 3 different cities. Mm-hmm. But it was linear in the storyline, and it kept you on
a path. Yeah,
and you could branch out, which I appreciate. I liked about the freedom of it.
So
so I felt like when you got to the end of the game after 40 hours mm-hmm. of being an assassin and then learning about Desmond's character, I think that was like a cool kind of open world controlled thing. But I think these newer games are just meant to eat up your time and not actually give you an experience,
which they are. So. It's a good thing that you mentioned Assassin's Creed because that's one of the things that I at least exclusively compare it to Valhalla exclusively because I played, I want to say 20 hours of Valhalla and like I got pretty bored of it really quickly because I was doing the same mundane things.
A lot slower than you when it comes to that stuff.
Well, I mean, I was just literally sitting there just mindlessly playing it. Now, like if you're one of those gamers that wants to play something that's just you don't really care about story. You just want to play and just have a good time, right? Valhalla is probably a really good pick for you. I think Crimson Desert might be a better one only because, like I mentioned before, the beginning is really, really rough. It will go through the basic MMO, like go over here, fetch this, go over here, do this. But I think they're doing that to teach you to use your brain a little bit. So like
it's kind of like their tutorial. It's a non-tutorial.
Yeah, it is. So... Okay. There's a quest early on in the game, like right after you get past the intro sequence, where you're going around town and you're doing little mundane things for each and every person, right? One of them that I remember exclusively is that you have to help this couple with their house that's like smoking on the inside, and it's because their chimney is not clear. So you have to take a broom and climb the top of the house and then go to this chimney, and it doesn't tell you, hey, stand on top of the chimney and fuck it. No, you just like. I'm sitting there for like 5 minutes, like scraping the sides of the chimney. I'm like, am I doing it? Is this what I'm supposed to do? No, I figured out, okay, well, what happens if I climb up on the top? Oh, look at that. And then I fucking cleared out the chimney.
Which I think is cool because even though it's a stupid mundane mission/task.
Most people don't like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That's the biggest
people
problem.
People want to just push a button and have the character do it. Where I think it's kind of cool to because even without like if you don't use AI, right? Because that's another thing they're kind of in trouble for using AI
a little bit, yeah.
And I'm not going to cast shade because I don't know the whole story, but I think that that is a really cool thing because we are mundane as people. We get up every day. We shower the same.
Your argument is like, why would I have to do chores when I'm already doing chores in real life?
Well, no, I appreciate that a game has you doing those things. Have you thinking like, life isn't just like, I'm going to go fix my car. I'm not going to walk up and just touch the hood and then the car goes.
It just drops back down.
A status bar shows up and then the car's fixed.
Oh, that would be nice, right?
You got to open the hood, and I think that's kind of cool that the game made you go. Well, yeah, you could click on the chimney. And try to work on it, but no, you have to actually get up to like a real
get to the top, yeah.
And
so yeah, I mean it's really cool. I think the bigger thing is that it's I don't want to say it's like back to the old school gaming where you have to use your brain because I don't feel like old school games were really like that. It was more just because you didn't understand how the controls work. That's the only comparison I have to older games.
I think what I'm getting at when I'm talking about like say the ledge thing is that games hold your hand too much.
Yeah.
And I think that it's nice that it doesn't hold your hand, and it's not going to be for everybody.
Well, I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but
no, it's your game.
The thing that I'm specifically trying to say is that the reason why it doesn't hold your hand, which a lot of people have a problem with, is because there's not really a main thing you're supposed to do. This is a game that has house building. This is a game that has forestry.
Open world.
It has forestry. It has hunting patterns.
You make
the
story
fishing.
yourself, it sounds
You're
like.
literally just D&Ding your way through this whole fucking game, climbing up mountains and looking at the vista.
I wish I could have got it.
You know, going through. Well, I mean, you can still buy it on your PlayStation. You could play it on your PlayStation.
No.
You know, it's a game that is meant for you to just have an adventure, and if you're that type of person that's willing to push through some really archaic ways of like managing systems and managing inventories and stuff. Like, for instance, I have a quest right now that I have to do for the main story where I have to send dudes out to go and expand the camp that I have in order to grow more things. I cannot progress through that story campaign until I have more camp money. Now, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck do I get camp money. So I'm like racking my brain going around. So I decided, okay, whatever. I'll come back here later. So now what I'm doing is I'm going into the main town that I've been to, the one out of like 8, I think, main faction towns. And I'm going through and doing side quests. So I'm going through and asking, you know, I just did this one for a blacksmith where I had to go and mine these ores. And you sit there, take the pickaxe and manually fucking slam it, pick up the ores, and then go to the guy that needs the ores. And he's like, oh, dude, thank you. I can make my forge now. Once I get my forge up, I'll build you a cool weapon. And then you're like, oh, cool. I'm done with that now. While I'm riding on my way over to those points, I'm like, oh, dude, look, there's a freaking a giant over there. Oh, dude, look over there. There's a camp that I can go and hunt, or I can go and clear out. It's just like filled with tons of stuff you can find.
So I'm gonna, from what I've heard, because I haven't played it yet, it sounds like it's The Witcher without a story.
It's more like Skyrim without a story, I'd say.
You think
actually.
so?
Yeah. The reason why I say that is because with The Witcher, the thing that entices you is the more talking segments, right? Like you enjoy. I don't know about you, but I at least enjoy the quests where you're going.
It's one of the greatest games of all time,
for sure.
CD Projekt Red, like that's the only reason why I'm playing Cyberpunk right now, because I haven't played it. I never played it at launch, and I'm playing it now on my PC.
I can't play that game still.
I'm playing it now, and I'm trying to get into it because I respect
what they did.
They've done a lot. GOG was one of them, and
yeah.
and I never finished The Witcher. I played it on 3 different platforms, dude.
Right.
I bought it originally on the PS4, and then I brought it over to PS5 and got pretty far, and then I played it on Steam. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to another little topic. Is I recently moved to Linux, and I was ready to make the jump because Windows pissed me off.
Right.
And the only issue I have with Linux is some of the compatibility issues with games. Like I bought Crimson Desert, and it will not run on on my PC.
I would say probably give them some time because they might make that a thing.
Well, if they do, I know that they're becoming very popular.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the biggest thing with that is that they've had a ton of issues, and they basically made a public statement saying like, we'll fix them. Within a week, they've fixed already one of the major issues, which is mouse and keyboard controls. Right. It was abysmal.
So I'll probably buy it once it's available for Linux. If it's not, I'll probably get it on the Steam Deck if it's available. But I saw it on Steam Deck. It does not run good.
I probably wouldn't. Yeah.
That brings me to another question. Not even a question. It's one of my favorite games of all time came out on PS4, and it's called Days Gone. Mm-hmm. And that's another studio that kind of did the same thing where they brought a game out.
Do you want to buy that game for $70 again with the remastered? I know that you bought it for $10 with their DLC that they did for it, but anybody knew they have to pay $70.
No, that's Sony's fault, though. Sony likes to hose everybody.
Yeah.
And I did buy it for full price when it came out for PC.
When it came out, but then they remastered it, and then they made that version $70 for anybody that wants
unless you already owned the original.
Yeah, right.
And let's be clear here, I did spend the $10 on both the console and the PC. So... but that game was another one of those games where they came out kind of broken, and I think that game is one of the most underrated games in the last 10 years.
I would agree. I haven't played it as much as you have. I'm also very particular. For some reason, my brain just has a really hard time getting into single-player games, you know?
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's just a game that I think a lot of people, if they want a good open-world game, I think that's probably one of the better ones.
It is.
It still has a lot of fetch quest, but the story...
is enticing.
Is good.
Yeah.
Got a lot of flack for stupid reasons. I only had a few minor problems with mine on the PS4 Pro when I bought it and beat it. But I've got over 200 hours in that game.
Right.
On my PlayStation 5 and 4, and then probably not that much on Steam. I haven't played it that much on Steam. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that being said, underrated games. Let's go around the room here.
Underrated games?
So what's a game that you play that not a lot of your friends play?
Oh, shit.
That you think is underrated, is too good to be underrated. And I got one I think that only a few of your friends have played that I think that you showed me that I paid for.
Oh, man. Underrated games that a lot of my friends don't play. Oh, man. I'm going to have to cut this out because I have to think about it here.
No, think about it, but I think I got one for you.
Okay, go for it.
One of the ones you showed me that I think is absolutely fun to play with friends is Species Unknown.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people don't give that game enough credit where credit's due. Because it's a good game. It's a multiplayer version of Dead Space in a lot of ways. And
it's a mixture between Alien Isolation, Dead Space, and like any sci-fi.
It deserves the respect, and it's not very. Just for you guys know, it's probably $15 on Steam.
I think it is like $15 or something like that.
Give it a shot. It's awesome.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new game that's like we call it a co-op slop. Where these games where you get your buddies together and do stupid shit. Species Unknown is this really good one. You're playing as 4 derelict ship investigators kind of guys, and you fly all the way over to this derelict ship, and you have to go through on the inside, and there's one species of different, I think it's like, 6 or 7 different species that you find, and you have to either, depending on the mission that you pick, kill it, capture it, or get a black box and navigate this entire ship. And like turn on the power and do all of these cool things, find weapons and stuff to be able to get your objective complete. And it's varied, it's fun. I think it's only gotten a little less or gotten a little more repetitive now because we've played it so much that we've gotten like almost all of every single monsters we've captured.
Small developer,
and
things come out real slow
for sure. So,
but
it's one
awesome.
of those fun games for sure. Man, underrated games that my friends don't play that I play.
Well, how about we
get to the Orange Door? So it's a single player first person shooter that's built on fast paced shooting. So think like Titanfall or what's that fucking game called? Ultra Kill. That's what it's called. Or Ultra Kill, where you're playing as this dude and it's in these kind of like randomly generated zones, but it's all in like the art style is all like think like synthwave, like vaporwave kind of style, where it's like those kind of color things.
Wasn't Ultra Kill like that too?
No, Ultra Kill is more like old school Blood.
What was that Xbox game that was like that? They bought the studio, but they made it for the PlayStation 4 and 5. It was like a John Wick style, but it wasn't John Wick. It was like almost like Japanese action movie.
Vaporwave style?
No, I think it had the word ghost in it. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. But it was a real fast-paced shooter. A friend of mine was playing it and said he really liked it.
I wouldn't know. I don't think I have it.
I feel like I'm that one guy. I feel like I'm your grandpa trying to describe an old movie that you used to watch. Ever see that one movie that happened that one time?
That one guy did that one thing?
Yeah. So we've talked about that, and I think that if we're going to come up with some more stuff on the next podcast,
we'll have more to talk about.
For that, I want us to think about games that are underrated. I do, at the end of this little segue right here, I want to challenge you to play at least 2 hours of Witchfire per week. I want to see that timer go up because because there's a lot of cool shit, and I'm tired of being the only one that's played the motherfucker.
I do need to sit down and just play the fuck out of it. I've just been spending so much time playing Crimson Desert and some other shit.
Okay, we're going to go into the segue number 2. We're going to clack glasses, have a little sip of our whiskey. Okay, we're going to talk about movies.
Fun.
Yeah.
The enjoyable part.
Yeah. We're going to hang out.
Because there's nothing.
We're going to hang out in the back alley theater here. So, any upcoming movies that you've seen advertisements for that you are excited for?
One.
Okay.
Spider-Man Brand New Day.
You think that looks good?
I do. And that's only probably just because of my bias with Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, and I think that Sony Spider-Mans with Tom Holland are one of the only things that have come out with the recent Marvel waves.
I agree. The trailer looks good. Mm-hmm. I would say that I'm excited for that movie.
I'm also excited to see, because from what I've seen from the trailers, it looks like they're going into the mutated Spider-Man a little bit more, and that's not a topic that we've really ever seen talked about, other than like kind of with Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where he can grow webbing inside of his body. It's like the only thing that we have, but it looks like they're going to kind of take more elements of that and put that into this Spider-Man, which looks really cool. It's also awesome to see that what's that actor's name? He goes, let me tell you something. What's his fucking name? He's also in Walking Dead. I can't remember his name like ever.
Oh, the Punisher.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that the Punisher
is in it.
Is fucking in it, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's going to be
John
sick.
Berthel.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Did you know that he has his own podcast?
Oh yeah, and he's way better than we are right now.
Yes, he is.
Anything on streaming that you've seen that you can recommend to anybody on this podcast?
No,
I got two.
Go for it.
So I just watched one with Gerard Butler. This is Sparta. And it's called Cop Shop.
Cop Shop.
And it's about a guy that gets arrested for punching a cop. He's trying to get away. Obviously, he's trying to get away from somebody. And Gerard Butler plays a hitman that gets put in jail as well. So he's in the next cell over. And it's a very interesting. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's super fun. Mm-hmm. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. Another one on Netflix that I recently just saw, which I did not think I was going to like, but I do like the two actors that are in it, is a movie called The Rip.
Okay.
It's one with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Great movie as well. It's actually based on a true story of a division of police in, I think, Los Angeles that are basically they're just picking up drug heist. Like they go to drug houses where the cartel have drugs, and they go to pick up this very small amount of money for a drug heist, like $150,000, and it's a lot more than that.
Oh boy!
And it becomes very intense.
Gotcha.
That was a good recommendation.
Yeah, see, I haven't really watched a whole lot of like anything on streaming platforms. Like the recent shows that I just finished were Ted Lasso and then Barry, actually, which those are pretty old considering now that they've. I
love Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso is great. I love Ted Lasso. Barry's also really good too.
That's what I heard.
And if you haven't seen it yet, oh dude, oh my god, it's so good. The last season has a lot of shit that like I thought it was going to be more of a what's the word. A normal closing to the story, and there was tons of moments where it just took a shift, and I was just like, I did not expect it to be that level of a shift. It's also one of the most funny black comedy shows I think I've seen in a while. I think black comedy is always best when it's done by the British, because I think they do black comedy a lot, but their shows haven't been that great lately.
You ever watched a show on Netflix called Broadchurch?
I have not.
That's a good show. Good show.
See, like, from my perspective, especially from my perspective, like I have a very hard time starting shows, seeing TV shows, and just like finishing them a lot of the time. So there hasn't been like a whole lot lately that I've been really interested in seeing. I've been only watching like older stuff. So like I had my phase a couple of months ago where I rewatched for like the billionth time, The Fifth Element, John Carpenter's The Thing, and also Big Trouble in Little China.
I just watched that Saturday.
Yeah. It's a fucking
one of the best movies of all time. So good.
And then I also just rewatched what was that movie called? The Green Mile from what was that? The 2000s? Think so?
Yeah, Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah. I watched that one again, and then I also rewatched Tron Legacy over again. There hasn't. Oh, and then I did also watch, because I got into a Spider-Man mood again, and I rewatched the third Spider-Man film with Tom Holland, No Way Home, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
That's a great movie too.
I'd like to note that was the last time I went to a Marvel film in the theater.
I actually went and saw the Thunderbolts, which is the new Avengers now. I didn't hate it. I thought it was actually really good.
I heard it was decent.
It was not bad. It was not bad. It was an enjoyable time.
I have some severe Phase 4 fatigue.
Oh, for sure. And you're not the only one. And I think here's the biggest problem is that streaming platforms have changed it so much to where people aren't going and seeing movies in theaters, right? Which is why, to go on to a topic that I'd like to talk about is like Iron Lung. We went and saw it together. Dad and my buddy Nick went and saw it together. And everybody that I've talked to that's seen the movie have said it's a great movie and that it's a fantastic film. But the point that I was going to talk to with this is that like he specifically, Markiplier, released it only in theaters, funded it mostly by himself. Actually, no, entirely by himself.
It was shot in his basement or something.
It was shot. No, it was shot in a small studio, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like a fucking Hollywood studio. It was just like a regular old one that he could rent out for like how long they needed
Gotcha.
to record it and everything like that. The only thing was that it was shot in one location.
Right.
There wasn't anything else.
Which
to
cuts the price of the movie down, but it was still done really well. I mean, especially for a YouTuber who doesn't have any like credible acting skills. I kept looking at him in the movie and expecting him to fuck up. And he didn't annoy me. I've been more annoyed by regular actors that are paid, that's their profession, than him.
The thing is that you haven't seen his other works, which are on YouTube with YouTube Red back in the time. He did like they're like little shows, but they're not shows; they're interactive.
Didn't he do a horror movie on there?
No. So he did technically 3, but there's only the main 2. So there's one where it's a heist with Markiplier, and then there's actually there is 3. There's a heist with Markiplier, and then there's Space Adventure with Markiplier 1 and 2. So the things that these is the reason why that's different is because they're not just like watchable movies; they're actually interactive. You're playing in a POV of a character, and you have to select choices by whatever it'll select on screen, and it'll play out like completely different.
Can I bring something up?
Go for it.
Do you remember? Oh, you don't remember this. In the early 90s, Sega had the Sega CD. And that was basically a Sega Genesis that could play movies. Mm-hmm. And that brings apart one of my favorite games.
Oh, yeah?
Zombie Fupa, bro. Which is Corpse Killers. And the thing about those games is they're fucking terrible. But that is definitely an homage, from what you said, to FMV games back in the day, full motion video games, where they were just a movie and you picked the outcome. It wasn't, you didn't play a lot, and if they did have gameplay, they weren't that great.
Right.
They were baked in. I mean, you look at Corpse Killer, and it's literally a shooter with flying zombies that are people that were paid $1 to be dressed up as zombie costumes.
Sure. These aren't like that level of interaction. They're more like think of the like Mass Effect, right? Like, you know how like you can make a choice and it'll change something. It's like that, but like throughout the whole thing.
A lot of FMVs back in the day were not a lot of video games.
Right. That's true.
They like there was one called Sewer Trap or Sewer Shark. And it was kind of like you were in like this, you were in like a submarine, but you were in tunnels, and you had to dodge by picking the right tunnel, and you would have little different interactions with things, but it was very much similar to that. It was very limited. It was not like you get more gameplay out of playing Sonic the Hedgehog, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It wasn't until like right before the consoles died, because they were pretty much garbage, but they were still fun for us. Was you had games like Batman Returns, and it was like a Batman side scroller, and the one thing they added was like authentic music, and then they had a Batmobile scene where you're on like a racetrack. Yeah, it was pretty cheesy, but it's still fun.
Yeah, these little movies that he did are just very different. This is definitely like he's more serious, and those ones they're more like kind of comedy, fun, little adventures.
Well, he was getting his acting chops.
Yeah,
probably
for sure.
getting comfortable in front of a camera, and stuff. All I'm saying is that
pretty much everybody that worked on those past projects too worked with him on Iron Lung.
Yeah,
like exactly the same.
But I think the reason why people don't go to theaters is I think COVID had something to do with that. Staying home.
No, it did. But that was also when they were doing streaming platforms, and it got super popular too.
Right. But it's
the same thing with gaming.
But I also don't think that movies aren't going to the theater because they're not popular anymore. I think people, even younger generation, would go out and see more movies.
Which they have. Iron Lung is. That's why I brought up Iron Lung.
What I'm saying is that what's the reason? Because it's actually a good movie.
It's a good movie.
And
it's also Markiplier.
They're not spreading a message and having a message convoluted into a terrible script.
Which is why I think probably A Brand New Day will probably be good. It'll come out and it'll be successful.
We went and saw about 2 weeks ago that movie Send Help, and I think I texted you about it.
You were talking about it,
and you're like, I'm not interested. I think you absolutely should be interested because it's actually a really good movie with Rachel McAdams, and I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays a real asshole. And I mean, you hate him, and I was just like laughing because I'm like, yeah, this got me fired up. I hate this guy. He's doing a good job, but it's just two people. After the first 15 minutes of the movie. It goes from...
Did that beat Iron Lung in the box office? Yeah, it did?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
It came out a little bit later. And I mean, again, but it
they were scared for a minute.
But it beat Sam Raimi's film, even though it's a bigger production because it's Sam Raimi. It was just nice to see that the two top movies of that month
were good movies.
That were made by people who wanted to make a movie that you could sit for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and actually enjoy yourself.
I watched... I watched Iron Lung 2 times in the theaters, and I will say the first time was just a magical experience. I remember sitting down and it kicked in, and it was the narrator talking about the same thing that the game has, where it's talking about the blood planets, blah. And then it drops down, and then I was just immediately sucked in, like nothing else could take me out of it. And then the second time I watched it, I think that was with you, I was kind of noticing a lot of like dead air in the film. But it wasn't enough to really like throw me out of the film. It was more just like I wanted to get to the next part, get to the exciting parts.
Well, you'd seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to be said about anticipation of what's going to happen next, and that dead space is filled with your own adrenaline. And not adrenaline,
waiting for that thing to come.
For that next thing to happen, because I thought it was paced really well.
No, it is.
There was no.
And it's the way from he's talked about it. It's on purpose. Like there was a article that came out that was talking about the movie, and it was literally breaking down the scene when he's dropped into the ocean, and he's just now starting his adventure, and it has the scene when the blood drops onto his glove, and he wipes it on his leg, and it was basically breaking it down, being like the lovingly craft of the blood being wiped and onto his leg and being soaked into the fabric was lovingly crafted, and like Markiplier was talking about this himself, and it's just like, yeah, you can't not see the passion that he had for that specific production. Like that's the one thing I think.
Well, I think he put like $3 million down.
Yes. I mean, you could put fucking $60 million and make a shit movie come out.
But again, we talked about this earlier about video games. When you have the executives only trying to get money, there's a reason why cinema has a golden age. And I'm not going to just talk about the golden age when I was a kid, when in the 80s and 90s. Even before that, I'm watching old movies now, like old Hammer films that are really cheesy horror films.
I will never get over Blackula.
Yeah, that was awesome. But they're cheesy to today's audience, probably. But you have to understand that these people were coming from the theater.
Yeah.
And when you go to a theater and you watch people act in a theater, they have to project and act wildly to get emotions across because there's no special effects. It's made by people.
Right.
And I think that movies screenwriters have been restricted to writing what somebody wants them to write rather than being creative. Like, I'll say, I've said it before in this podcast, I talk about the message. There's nothing wrong with the message if it works organically in a story. But a lot of it's just pushed in to say it.
I think the biggest example of that when it comes to like gay people or lesbians, just to kind of go off a little bit, just tiny bit, is like Arcane. I know that a lot of people don't want to watch it because it's related to League of Legends, which I think is so dumb because it's not even... The only thing about it that's League of Legends is it's just the same character in the same characters in the same world. But like you watch season 1 and it's an engrossing story. It's so fucking good.
Again, it's the story. Nobody cares about the preferences of people, as long as it's organic.
The only thing I have to say about that with Arcane exclusively is within the second season, there's a couple of things like they rushed the ending so fast that like they make choices in the show that I'm just like, that's dumb. Why'd you do that? But other than that, it was still an enjoyable experience.
Was it canceled?
No. They only were signed for, I think it was originally going to be 3 seasons, but then they pushed it to 2 seasons.
So they were canceled.
It wasn't a cancellation. It was canceled, yes, but they chose to cancel it. It wasn't the heads being like, we're canceling your show. They basically wanted to just end it and have it done so that they can move into doing other things in the League of Legends universe. So they're going to tell different land stories, basically, is what's going to happen.
That seems kind of wishy-washy to me, dude. Because if you're going to create more of a multiverse or have more people involved,
it's not a multiverse. It's
a multiverse. What I'm saying is, if you're going to have a wide variety, excuse me, of people or characters from a video game or any story in it, that'd be like, oh, we're going to make The Hobbit, so we're going to cut it down to 2 towers and go on to the next thing. I think it wasn't well received, and I think that somebody said,
dude, the Arcane season 1 was like the highest rated TV show.
Right, but what about the second one?
The second one only came out just recently.
I know. Okay, well, they're not going to make a third episode?
It was not canceled after it released. It was canceled before.
So somebody said that then. Somebody higher up canceled it.
I don't understand. Well, here's the thing. The reason why I'm so against that is because how would they cancel it when they've had other TV shows that are so much infinitely worse than this one? And then they would just be like, oh, we're going to release these ones and do 2 more seasons of these ones. And
because I think that those other seasons of other ones were still popular, but they're also...
I don't remember fucking Starfleet Academy being that great.
Maybe they just...
I don't remember a lot of these other TV shows. Like, what's the Amazon one? the Lord of the Rings one, Rings of Power. I don't remember that one being that great.
I don't think they're making a third season.
No, they got canceled after season 2 came out.
Yes, but they found out during season 2.
Yeah,
and
season 1 was bad.
Remember, they're still writing while they're doing it. So they have I think, if I had to guess, I'm guessing pretty hard right now, that they probably have a whole timeline set up. And when the executives say, hey, we're slicing it down to 2 and canceling it halfway through the season, they're going to have to figure out
I think what came out was that they did season 1, but then when season 2 was being planned, they didn't really have a whole... Like, they had the structure, but they didn't have everything planned out. So then they just kind of were like... The directors and the writers were just like, let's just rush through it so that we can get to the next parts. Because I think they were kind of done telling the Piltover story. Because I feel like, from what I understand, and I'm not knowledgeable on this and I could totally be wrong, but from what I understand is that they have told the Piltover stories so much through animatics and shit like that for League of Legends that they were just kind of like done with it. And especially with that animation style. Like the new seasons for any other TV show that team's going to do is going to be differently animated than what Arcane was. It'll still be related to it.
I find it hard to believe that it wasn't a financial decision, though.
Dude, that show made Netflix so much money. I have a hard time believing.
But you're basing off the first season. It doesn't take more than one.
The second season was just as successful as the first season one was. It just wasn't as highly rated as the first season was.
Which is what shareholders go off of.
Probably. It could be. I have no idea. I'm not them.
I mean,
I don't think
Amazon has infinite money.
So does Netflix. I mean...
Right, and they can continue to make slop if they want to.
Which they do.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. That's another... Amazon has another show coming out, God of War.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it.
I was excited for the actor because he kind of looks like him.
I don't think so.
I think he kind of looks like him.
Dude, they could have gotten the same guy that played Kratos back in the fucking 2000s for the trailers.
He's probably old now.
Kratos is old. Who gives a fuck? Make it look like the characters, man.
Okay, but that's what a lot of people say. Then
I have always argued that. All right, you know that for a fact. Like when they announced the Witcher show,
I was more upset about Atreus.
Yeah, Atreus doesn't look anything like the guy, like the kid.
Yeah, because the kid looks really young.
Yeah, he looks like he's like 6 or something.
Yeah, and Atreus is like
he's
10?
Yeah, no, you're right. He is 10.
Yeah.
Because in the second game he's like 16 or like 14 or something like that.
He's a lot taller and a lot older, so
yeah.
He's more of a man in that second game.
No, what I was going to say is like even when The Witcher was coming out, and I love Henry Cavill. Everybody fucking loves Henry Cavill. I did not think that he was going to play a good Geralt of Rivia.
I was a little upset myself, but
and that was just because I wanted him to look like the Geralt from the video games.
Henry Cavill is the Valve of movie industry because he tries to make everything as accurate as possible. And then I felt bad for Liam Hemsworth because it was just a job.
He was dealt such a shit hand.
It was just a job for him at that point. Just get us through the season.
I didn't even watch the latest season.
I watched season 1 and 2, and I barked off.
I probably should watch it just to see if he did even try. Put a little bit of effort.
That is our challenge for Cayman here is to finish season 4 of The Witcher, and then he could tell me about it.
I will. I'll have that for the next episode.
I don't even have a job right now, and I don't have time for that. Okay, well let's
move to the next segment. Yeah, let's roll this on
to the next thing here. Do you think the film industry is toast?
Elaborate. Like, what do you mean toast?
Well, we all know, agree or disagree, that a lot of the message that's been pushed in Hollywood and how crazy they've been activist acting, that a lot of crappy content is out for movies.
It is.
A lot of crappy content. And I would be wrong in my opinion, and I don't think I'm wrong, that a lot of people don't care if a character's gay or not, or whatever. I think it's in the way that it's
narratively written.
It's written, and I think it's less about story and more about the message. And I think they are going to die on this hill. And I think the problem is people are going to walk away. I mean, you look at the streaming services and they're losing money. I mean, Hulu just got bought out and moved over to Disney Plus, and they're going to cancel the app. Mm-hmm. So now they're all, it's almost like we got away from cable to go to streaming, and now we're going back to cable. Because even though you're streaming it on the internet, you're still commercials, and they want you to pay extra for no commercials. And it's like, where does the money, I mean, none of these $14, $25 a month subscriptions are worth the money they're charging.
Just because there's like nothing to see.
We're as customers and fans of TV shows, we're paying these executives to continue to make bad messages. I never thought I'd be alive to see an industry where they sell you a product and they tell you that you're wrong if you don't like the product.
It is weird, isn't it?
Yes, and it kind of pisses me off. You know what's funny is I muted my phone an hour ago.
You know what? Fight me.
This is a rough podcast. But, okay, so I think that the movie industry is toast, like the video game industry is toast, but I think it will be saved by individual. So, like Markiplier, I think is one of the guys that will. He's not Jesus.
No,
but I think that it'll spark more creative, great movies for us to watch. I think
for him, it was more just that he proved that an indie film can make it.
But
into the big scenes.
But what I'm saying is we talked about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The indie industry in video games is going to save, with Steam and Valve, are going to save the industry from the greedy executives making terrible games.
I wouldn't say so. When you're saying toast, right? In my brain, that means that it's going to be
big blockbuster films, like bringing up where we all run to the theater and we're like, "Oh my god, did you see this movie?"
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a kid. That was like every weekend.
That was something. Thing. Yeah, you would go and see this new big blockbuster.
There was a cool blockbuster. I mean, we don't have a good Independence Day anymore, and that's just an over-the-top action film. You know, the action. Like I know that they say
the only ones that we've had were the John Wick franchise.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that came from Ted Theodore Roosevelt.
So, what I was going to say is like when you say toast, it makes me think like it's burnt, right? So it's already past its time.
I think that when I mean toast, I think that Hollywood is in trouble.
Yes.
And I think that what's going to save it is independent artists that have nothing to do with Hollywood, and they want to tell you a story. It doesn't matter what the content is.
So what I was going to say to that is that I don't think it's necessarily that it's toast. I think it's just going in a circle. So you know how like back in the day, right, movies and video games were in the same boat where like they would have all of these new movies coming out, right? Creative, fun, whether or not they were good or not, they were still fun. It's the same aspect, just like we're going back to that time, right? Everything that's new that everybody's talking about is like, for instance, like I talk about like Ultra Kill, right? Like that's a game that harkens back to the old school graphic style where it was like, polys and you can literally, they have a setting in it for it to turn up the texture warping and shit to make it old school.
Yep.
And that game is old school but new. It has the fast-paced combat, the different guns carrying your whole loadout with you, right? It's going in a circle, but with new additions to it. Right?
Unfortunately, we just all got a first-class ticket on the shitty train to watch these crap movies.
Right.
You know.
We got to go see the new Marvel film.
You got any good movies you'd recommend for me to watch that I haven't seen yet?
Shit, that's a tough one because I think you've seen a lot of the ones that I've seen.
Okay.
Wasn't there one recently that I was talking to you about?
Well, that's a good thing to think about before we get on the podcast. That was everybody. So I think what we do is we're going to come back in the second episode and we'll have more. We'll have more. I think this is going to be a train wreck. I apologize, guys. But this is our first podcast.
This is not a train wreck. We're having conversation. A train wreck would be us not having a conversation.
All right, I'm going to move on to the third segue, which is music, and I'm passionate about music.
We can talk about that for hours.
And
that one we're both pretty.
Just so anybody who decides to listen to this podcast understands, I'm a huge metalhead.
I mean, I think we both are. I just have a lot more taste.
I'm explaining our sides.
Gotcha.
I do love reggae and I do love country music. I'm more of an outlaw country music fan than I am anything. I'm not a big hip hop fan. I think hip hop died for me in the '80s with all the greats: LL Cool J, Run DMC, Beastie Boys.
You weren't even a '90s fan?
I do love some '90s West Coast, East Coast hip hop. After that, I was pretty much checked out because it was terrible.
Gotcha.
I want to chat to you, Cayman, about what is an album that you've been listening to recently that you can't turn off?
Death Above Life is the biggest one. I know. And the Brownings Geist.
Okay.
And then I've also always go back to Rivers of Nile with Where Owls Know My Name. Those are the top three that I continuously listen to. But I've also recently gone back and, like I was mentioning earlier today, been listening to Caravan Palace a lot again.
Okay. Which was a cool swing band.
Yes.
I liked what I saw.
You should check them out more.
The problem about showing me stuff is that I won't really react because I'm watching it.
Right.
My wife hates it when I watch movies or TV shows because I'll sit there like a statue. And even comedies, I won't even laugh, like watching old school comedies, and that I'll quote religiously, like Grandma's Boy, one of the greatest comedies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time I watched it, my friends were dying, falling off the couches, and I just sat there, and it was like I was on record. You know, I think my albums I can't get out of my brain are anything Spirit World, because those Las Vegas guys are fucking awesome. That was a great show, by the way.
Yes, very fun.
I've been listening to a lot of Orbit Culture because they're fucking awesome.
They are.
That show was awesome. I'm glad you went with us.
I'm very glad I went to that show.
I was very mad that I didn't go to the Browning, but we did talk about how I didn't really educate myself on a lot of that music.
To be fair, they'll also be back soon. You know,
I'm not worried about.
I don't think that they're not going to be. They're going to be gone for like another 3 years or anything like that. I think they're probably going to either come back at the end of the year or this year.
The newest Luke Combs album just came out a couple days ago, and I really like Luke Combs. He's a little on the poppier side of country music, but I do enjoy his stuff. Ella Langley is amazing. I think I showed you her video just recently. I've been listening to a shit ton of her. My wife is addicted now. Every morning I can hear her listening to it. When it comes to metal, it's definitely Spirit World. I've gotten into some really hardcore black metal.
I mean, that's the challenge, is like every time I've tried to like show you different types of metal bands, you've either already heard them or they're just not for you. I'm
kind of the Alice in Wonderland of music. And what I mean by that is it doesn't make me special, but like I read an article that when human men and women get to like the age of 35, they stop listening to newer music and they only stick to like, I only listen to Metallica for the first 4 albums, or I only listen to this Willie Nelson, or I only listen to this. And I feel like some of my taste buds are like that. But when it comes to like the primary musics, I'm always trying to listen to something new. That's why I'm always like, oh, dude, you got to check this out. Like I've had Hatebreed, like I was telling you earlier, I asked you about that. I had Hatebreed on my iPhone forever. And I listened to their album. I was like, this is a cool album. And then I was at the gym yesterday and I put it on and I was like, okay.
Shit.
So then I burned through 2 more of their albums and I'm like, these guys are fucking killer. Any live shows you got coming up?
I do not. I do not have any live shows coming up. I'm kind of waiting until...
And this is where I'm awesome because I have Lamb of God, Electric Callboy.
I would go see... Well, I can't go see Electric Callboy. And that's just because I'm priced out of their tickets, right? Yep. And me and my sister really want to go see Electric Callboy because you've shown us their music and we fucking love them. They're so much fun.
Dude, they're ridiculous.
They're so much fun. But like as of right now, which we're recording this just to let you know, podcast viewers, on the 25th of March on 2026, the tickets are still at least like $300 a piece just for regular general admission tickets. Now, if that changes within the future, we probably will go see it, and then I can update you guys onto that shit, because I mean, we love Electric Callboy and like Lamb of God. Like I love Lamb of God. Don't get me wrong. Like I love their music. I've seen them 3 times already, and I feel like that's kind of
they tour a lot.
They do,
and they tour with a lot of cool bands. So you get the opportunity. I think that.
Are they headlining this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So who do you know who's backing them up?
No, because
have they announced it yet?
They may have announced it. I could look. We can come back and talk about it in the next podcast.
Watch it be like the Browning or something.
It probably
would be crazy.
I think it's a couple other heavy hitters.
Probably
because of what I saw on the poster was 2 band names I couldn't recognize. So I'm like, oh, it's definitely black metal. But I've been getting into a lot of. I've been into reggae for a long time, and it's kind of funny because reggae is. Talks a lot about things that I get sick of hearing people talk about, which is racial inequality and the world being, negative, and the man always putting everybody down. And but I love it. I think I've downloaded probably 6 or 7 reggae artists besides Bob Marley. I love Steel Pulse. I was actually supposed to see them last year in May, and they canceled their show because one of their guys got sick, and I was super butthurt about it because like. I don't even smoke weed, and we all know that reggae music is all about smoking weed.
Yeah.
But their music is like smoking weed to me. I mean, I'm out there working in construction, hanging outside a building, and I got reggae blasted, and it's just it's some people fucking hate it, and that's fine. But
everybody's got their own taste.
If somebody had to sit there and say, okay, I want you to pick a genre of African American or music that is primarily sang by African Americans or people of African descent. I would say my favorite isn't hip hop. It's because that's like it'd be reggae, and it would definitely be blues. I think the blues is like it's one of those things that's just transcendent when it comes to everybody feels these emotions.
I feel like a challenge we should do at some point is go to a jazz show or like a blues show.
That's not a challenge. I've been to a couple jazz shows.
I haven't yet.
They're awesome.
I haven't yet. I wasn't just saying that I was talking about for both of us.
Jazz is like one of the original styles of most music, and it's amazing.
I love jazz.
Yes.
I remember one of my buddies.
I don't know any jazz musicians, by the way, everybody. If you got suggestions, please let me know.
Oh, yes, please do. I haven't been to any jazz shows or anything like that, and I wanted to for the longest time to just go, because I feel like that's something that we would totally do, is just sit down at a jazz bar and just have a couple of drinks and just listen to nice jazz. I don't know the scene, if it's really like that or not. I'm only just coming off of.
I don't think they're mosh pitting.
No, I'm not even talking about mosh pitting. Even if I've only been to a lot of metal shows, I have been to other shows. I mean, the Caravan Palace is one of them, and they're not mosh pitty at all.
They're swing.
They're not mosh pitty at all.
But they are crowd engaging.
Yes, they are.
They are crowd engaging.
But I mean, I'm also not opposed to just sitting down and enjoying music. I mean, like I do that most of the time. For instance, when we go to like dad shows, I'm not fucking mosh pitting unless if I'm drunk. That's a different thing, okay? But like I sit there and I enjoy the music. And when I'm at home, I'll listen to jazz and I'll sit there and I'll just enjoy the music and you know, go through my emotions and my experiences with it or whatever.
Well, that's music in general. Music in general is such a visceral experience for anybody. Like it's my one. It's if you want to talk about a drug that helps you cope with life and all of its craziness, it's music. Mm-hmm. Movies can take you out of somewhere, and that's the one thing I think. You know, like I was talking about, like, you know, the message in movies is that movies need to transport you away from your daily life.
Right.
You know,
it's any entertainment, I feel.
Right. Like
whether it's a video game or it's a movie.
And I think that if they want to entertain people, don't make it for everyone. I think that
a game that is for everyone is for no one.
Yes, that's the same thing with movies, and the same thing with music. I think that if everybody likes it, you're not going to like it.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's why Taylor Swift's so popular, because half the country hates her with a passion.
Well, I don't know about half. Well, maybe half actually.
Yeah. That's a lot of people to like you. See, half the country.
So like I've been to a lot of metal shows, and they're just the most successful that I've gotten to. Right, like for instance, the Browning tickets were like $32. Right, and there are bands that have more expensive tickets, but we did try to go and see, because I'm a part of the electronic scene. I love dubstep, you know, all of that shit, and I've tried to go see Feed Me, Knife Party. We even tried to go see Deadmau5 at one point. I wouldn't recommend it because it's like $3,000 a ticket. But, well, at that point, he's literally reached to the point where it's like festival level. Like you're going there and it's like a huge ass crowd. So, I mean, if you're going to go see Deadmau5, you're going to see Deadmau5, you know. And the thing with a lot of those is that I
couldn't pay that much for a ticket.
It's that, but it's, I mean, for that level. But for
my wife and I just recently saw Ghost, and we paid like $700 and something for 2 tickets. I mean, it was on the floor. And I thought that was, you know, way too much money. But at the same time, I don't know if they're touring for a while.
They're probably not.
You know,
I think from what I've heard.
They have always put on a fantastic show. Mm-hmm. Love them or hate them.
I don't know actually how much Dad paid for the Iron Maiden tickets. I think they were about like $70 a piece. I think.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Iron Maiden tours every 6 months.
Right.
You know,
they also do the same thing where they put on a big show and have like a lot of set pieces and shit like that too,
which is great.
Yeah.
But they've made their money, so they can dictate their prices.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like new bands, like all of the ones that I have, because my Spotify and my YouTube notify me when there's a new band, so they just don't have any shows coming up, or they're too small of artists that they don't have shows. Like for instance, I listen to a lot of like video game soundtracks, so I don't think that a fucking Japanese composer that composed music for Final Fantasy is going to come over here and do a fucking Final Fantasy show.
I mean, if he did, it'd be a lot of money because it'd be a one-time show,
and it would be probably crazy. It would probably go crazy,
right?
But in terms of like anything new, there just hasn't been anything other than like Electric Callboy, and Lamb of God. And right. I think we're probably going to get another. I mean, it's also still the beginning of the year, so we'll probably see some more coming out here.
There's definitely
going
to be. I'm very disappointed that Amon Amarth and Death Clock are not coming to this side of the country.
Well, I think Death Clock is done touring, aren't they?
No, they are the openers for the Amon Amarth tour here.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's a continuation from their tour from over here, because they just toured over here last year.
I don't know. I just know that they're opening up for them, or at least they're the second band, and they're not playing it over here on this side, because I always go see Amon Amarth because they're one of my favorite bands of all time.
Right. Just
like when I always go see Wardruna when they show up. It'll be the 4th time I've seen those bastards, and they're amazing.
Or Orbit Culture.
Yeah. Well, Orbit Culture I've seen twice. I went to Portland to see them.
I would so fucking see them again. Even if there's another mosh pit in the middle, I might join in the mosh pit this time. I joined in the mosh pit on Browning, and that was fun.
Yeah, of Sulphur was good.
Yeah.
The band before them I thought was decent. The band before that, I wasn't a huge fan.
You should have checked out. I wish you were there because the bands that played for the Browning were actually pretty cool too. There was this death metal band called Yourself with a female lead singer, and she was doing a lot of the different techniques that I actually learned from Lorna Shore, like I've talked about. She was doing the goblins, doing the fucking low growls, all of it, and she was actually very enjoyable to watch on stage. There was this old guy there, and like she had to stop just a little bit and like ask if he was okay because I guess he got like hit from the crash or something, and like he was like, yeah, no, I'm good. And then there was these two other bands that opened up for them that were pretty cool. They weren't like my favorite in general. Like I think Zach was more into them than I was, but they were still good. I did not hate them at all, for sure. Do you have any cool shows that you're going to see this year?
Well, I think I said it at the beginning. I have
Lamb of God.
I have Lamb of God. I have Electric Call Boy. I can't remember if my wife has picked something else out. We've considered going over to the East Coast and seeing the Dropkick Murphys because they're one of my favorite bands. Like a working class band, which I'm a huge fan of. But nothing has come up so far. I mean, I saw the Hate Breed and Slaughter Prevail, and I wanted to see them, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to pay to go see another one.
That was another one that I couldn't go.
Right. Yeah, Ashley was like, "Oh, you should go," and I'm like, "Oh, I'll bring Cayman," but then I was like, "No, that ain't gonna work." But the Lamb of God's the only one I got right now that I'm kind of excited for because I kind of feel like once they're done touring, it's kind of, I'm going to feel kind of bad that they're not, touring anymore. But I have seen them.
Is this their last tour?
No. But I just take the advantage whenever I can get it to see a band.
Because you just don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, it's like I really wanted to go see Metallica. Mm-hmm. I saw them once back in the day with my parents, and that's back when it was Jason was the bassist, and that was probably the Injustice for All tour. And I was only like 9, but I was big into Metallica when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And we went and saw them, and that was pretty amazing. That was at the Seattle Kingdom before it went down.
Oh, gotcha.
And I remember that. My dad was like, he didn't understand. He's like, "What is this crap?" My mom was all about it, which I thought was funny because her choice of music was Elvis Presley and like Patsy Cline, which is like the most contemporary like pop music you can listen to of the 50s and 60s. And then she's all rocking out to James Hetfield, probably because she thought he was attractive.
Yeah, probably.
But that's okay, But I would have loved to see Metallica before they retire because I still think they can put on a good show. That's
even knowing that Lars, can't play the drums that well anymore.
I don't care. Listen, I know he's not the greatest drummer of all time.
He doesn't have to be, but he's fucking up the goddamn fills and shit. Like, there's a level of basics that you got to relearn.
But that's the same thing about saying, Megadeth can sing, and
hey, man, that's a different conversation.
No, it's not.
All right, he can't fucking sing. It doesn't matter. It's not even a part of them. I don't listen to Megadeth for fucking Dave Mustaine. Okay, I listen to Megadeth because of what he talks about and the fucking guitar riffs. I don't listen to Dave Mustaine for his damn vocals. I can't even.
I
listen to Metallica because of James Hetfield singing and his fucking guitar riffs. Okay, that's it. Period. And also, it was at one point Lars's drum fills and shit because he had the foundation for drum riffs in metal music, like the foundation. You go and you want to learn drums for metal, you go and play Metallica, you go and play thrasher songs like fucking Anthrax and shit like that, right? Like that's what you play, or Anthrax. I said it right. I thought I said Anthem.
Anthrax is definitely one of the big four.
Yeah. You play those songs to learn how to play metal music, and that's like the intro stage. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that that's the fucking level that it was, right? And now you watch Lars, like I watched him try to do a fill for fucking Enter Sandman, and I was like, dude, you missed like half the fucking beats on the song.
But he's always been that guy. His live concerts have always been different than the studio tracks. He's never been the guy that plays exactly like the.
But it's not even. It's not even like he's doing it differently. It's just that he doesn't even play, like he like fundamentally misses like any part of drum beats.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, for you, maybe.
That's fine. I just don't care because I just, like I said, when you watch Dave Mustaine bitch and complain about how they kicked him out and he's whining like a little baby and he never got over it.
Mm-hmm. You're going to get so much hate right now.
I don't care. I don't care because I never liked Megadeth.
Yeah.
I don't think that they should not exist. Mm-hmm. But their music, I had Symphony of Destruction, their album when it came out.
Well, I mean, music is subjective. Everybody likes their own different things.
Well, there's right and wrong. And I'm right. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just prefer Metallica more. And yes, is their later years after the 90s not all that great? I do think that their latest album, 72 Seasons, is probably their best work they've done.
Well, I mean, Megadeth's fucking latest album is ass. It's just terrible. It just sounds like the drums and the guitars in the back are just like, they just weren't produced right.
I actually had somebody try to tell me that Metallica wasn't thrash metal. And I paused and I looked at him and he was like, no, they're not thrash metal. I'm like, they literally defined
thrash metal.
I
think that's only just because, like,
they're not thrash metal anymore.
That's what I was going to say. Is like, nowadays you can't really they're more considered classic rock apparently, which I thought was
their
really
stuff
funny.
Is definitely toned down compared to their original stuff. But they're also older. I think that's the thing that people miss about music is the message the same, but is it different? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't condone Load and Reload. Those are fucking terrible albums. Saint Anger, get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Death Magnetic, not a big fan. But Hardwired and 72 Seasons, I kind of looked at those two albums as they're not the heyday of Metallica. They're not even close. But what they are is like brand new songs that are like greatest hits albums,
right?
Because they have bits and pieces of like all the Metallica songs that were ever written that we all loved in the 80s.
I do think, in my opinion, that Metallica tries to pull off the nostalgia hits a little bit too much sometimes. Like, especially when like Stranger Things came out and they had that episode with Eddie and he was playing fucking Master of Puppets, right? Like that blew that shit up so hard.
Yep.
And like everybody was talking about it, and then they had they had him come over.
Wouldn't you if you make more money?
I mean, yeah, but I mean at the same time, there's like a level of like too much. I feel like they did it a little bit too much, and that's not me critiquing them. And like anybody would fucking do that if they were at that level and they were coming back, into the limelight and being like,
well, they were on tour when that.
Right.
I mean, absolutely. If you're going to tell me that there's a bunch of young people that haven't really listened to your stuff because it's dad's music or grandpa's music,
and then they're getting into
and then they hear it and they go, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I'd take those ticket sales
for
myself.
sure.
So it's not selling out. They sold out years ago. Let's be real. when they cut their hair and tried to do alternative or whatever the hell you call that, Load and Reload.
Well, alternative isn't even what alternative I feel like it used to be. I mean,
are you talking about like Nirvana? Alternative?
Was Nirvana considered alternative?
Yeah, they were. Though grunge was, I mean, if you look it up,
does alternative just encapsulate every other metal?
I think alternative is just anything that
I would say, like even now, alternative is different because when you say alternative, it's Slipknot. They're alternative.
That's new metal, dude.
Well, it was alternative, and then now it's being called new metal because Orbit Culture is new metal, and I don't think that they're alternative.
They're not new metal. They're metal.
They're called new metal.
Well, I disagree with that because new metal actually has a genre, and that's System of a Down, Mudvayne, Slipknot, Mushroom Head, all those guys that came out in the early 2000s that were like heavy but had like kind of like the precursor to metalcore where they had singing and stuff that wasn't so emo. That was definitely, they call it new metal, NU-metal, and I would not consider anything in Orbit Culture's albums that's considered new metal because they're not wearing like fancy sneakers and having a shirt that says "Down with the Government" and dancing around. Like even Rage Against the Machine is new metal.
Yes,
and they were like the
nowadays
and Limp Bizkit.
Before you would
God's
say that
sakes, Limp Bizkit.
For nowadays they're considered new metal, but you would say that if you asked like a couple of years ago, back in like 2016 or something, they would be considered like grunge.
I would
or
consider,
industrial.
If you want to use that terminology for anything that's out that's like bringing back the metal scene.
I think
I would say it very similar to British heavy metal, and not like it's British heavy metal, but it's the new wave of heavy metal. I wouldn't say it's new metal. I say it's only new in that it's current
newer,
year.
Yeah, which I think is what people classify it as.
If you want to genre it, it's the new wave of heavy metal. Because they're just heavy. They're not, because you can't compare it to, because black metal is just like punk rock metal. As much as you want to talk about it, it's fast, it's raw. I mean, there are blast beats everywhere, guitars playing as fast, and then one guy just screaming and you're like, holy crap, this is about his bad Uber Eats order, and I still love it, but you have to accept it for what it is. And and when I hear new metal, because I grew up in that era, I'm thinking System of a Down, Rage Against the Machines, Limp Bizkit, Korn, all the bands that I kind of grew up loving because I was a young teenage kid that was like all depressed all the time. And now that I have my shit figured out, I'm like, these guys need to grow up,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited for. I don't ever want to stop listening to music. I think it's important that everybody likes music, and no matter what the genre is. I think that we as people should always listen to music, and I think that it's something that we can all bond over. I think it's the easiest way to make friends is music.
Well, I know it's the biggest thing that we at least talk about. Just on our own time.
I mean, before we started this first episode of the podcast that we talked about for like 6-7 months, we
were just talking about metal music,
and we would go out in the back porch and smoke cigars and talk about metal music and play metal music. I mean, half the time there'd be a song playing and one of us would love it so much we wouldn't even listen to what the other person says.
Yep.
And that brings me up to like another new wave. I mean, like I can't stop talking about these guys. I'm definitely a super fan. I love Spirit World. I think they're one of the best new metal bands out there. And anybody who doesn't like them, they can fight me.
We're looking at you, Dad.
Yeah. I think that anybody who says that they don't have any kind of influence in Slayer, talking to you, Alyssa, is wrong. I think they don't sound just like Slayer. They have no.
I don't know. I listen to a lot of their songs and I get Slayer vibes 100%.
I get that.
Doesn't mean that they sound exactly like them, but there's elements of it that is just so Slayer.
Fan, and I'm not the hugest Slayer fan just because I haven't listened to their music very much. I love them for what they did to the metal scene. I listened to like say 10 of their most popular songs. Forgive me, people in the metal industry. But when I heard Death Western and I heard some of these guitar riffs, I mean, I was thinking Rain and Blood. I was thinking, some of the coolest Slayer riffs I've ever heard, but it was different. It wasn't a copy of Slayer. It was inspiration. But I think that a lot of what Stu writes and the guys write over there is a combination of a bunch of great bands that they listen to. I mean, there's a lot of great bands that probably aren't even metal that they have inspired. I mean, he writes spaghetti westerns.
That's also the thing that I think we were discussing a little bit today was like it's kind of hard to not have some sort of inspiration these days when you're creating something new.
Inspiration is not copycatting.
Right.
Like if I took For Whom the Bell Tolls and I changed the tone of the song, but everything's exactly the same, and then I write some dumb lyrics over it, I'm copying a song. But if a song reminds you of a song but doesn't exactly sound like it, and you can hear the inspiration, remember, like any good video game we used to talk about, any film director was a fan at one point. So to sit there and suggest that, that's a copycat of this band when it's just it's obviously inspiration. That's what I mean. Overculture gets it. Oh, he sounds like Metallica. Well, he's inspired by Metallica. He's 30 years old.
I still cannot.
In his cleaner vocals, he has that James Hetfield growl. Sure. But in his growl, it's all his own.
It's not like it's the same technique.
He's not copying James Hetfield.
It's the same technique, but it's not the same as James Hetfield.
No.
And I find every time you've mentioned it, like I can see it now with like the way that he stands and how he plays. Like
yes.
For sure, he does
He's
take a lot from it.
He's inspired by one of the greatest guitar guys.
I just cannot put them together. I feel like they're so different to me.
They're different, but he takes inspiration. Like his clean vocals have a Hetfield sound.
Yes.
And if you watch reaction videos on YouTube, there's guys that will pause and go, am I the only one getting a Hetfield vibe here? And that's not a bad thing because James Hetfield is one of the greatest frontman of all time. Now, is he one of the greatest vocalists of all time? I don't think so. But he's not a vocalist as in like prog metal.
I feel like I would say one of the greatest metal vocalists has got to be Russell Allen from Symphony X.
Yes, but he's prog metal. It takes more than just. They're not full on metal.
They don't do screams or anything like that. But his vocal
he's one of the most talented. That's for he actually. I'm going to take that back. He is the most talented frontman out of any metal band, progressive or not. It's like the one thing that held me back from liking Dream Theater as much as I should
is the
singer. I do not like James LaBrie's vocals, and you can fight me on it. I think that any metalhead or anybody that's into any kind of rock music.
Look, there's a reason why Dream Theater's best songs and most listened to songs are the ones where he's not singing in them, okay? Or they have really long breakdowns and fucking solo segments where they're just doing crazy shit. All right?
Is that why their songs are so long?
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Probably.
No, but like Symphony X is a far superior out of the two. I can listen to all their albums all over again because they have better overall music. Dream Theater's music is great, but because James Labrie kind of brings it down, it's just kind of a lot harder. And also, I think that one of the reasons why I love Symphony X is the content in which they sing. I mean, Russell Allen.
It's pretty awesome. They're
Russell Allen
crazy.
is an amazing vocalist, whereas I think James Labrie is like, obviously better than me, but he's because I can't sing, but he's like mediocre at best. But
Yeah,
I think that's really where I'm going to leave that, because I don't want to trash talk any more Dream Theater fans, because they are still a good band and they meant a lot to people, even myself.
Time. It is that time. So we're going to go ahead and close up this episode of the Speakeasy Podcast. Bill, how do you feel?
I feel great, man. I feel great. I hope people listen to it and enjoy it. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it very much. So thank you guys very much for listening to this podcast. And closing off segments here. If you guys have any suggestions, we'll set up like an email or some sort of like a collaborative thing for you guys to text us and message us, and then we'll go off of your guys' advice and things.
We're here because you're here. That's why we do this.
Exactly. So thank you very much for joining us on the Speakeasy Podcast. I'm Cayman.
And I am Bill Voigt.
Thank you, guys.